Hey, I'm Carlos Garcia, and today, happy Halloween! If you're watching this video as it comes out, it's Halloween. Hope you guys have a good Halloween. So I figured I'd do something a little different for today. So I actually am missing a lot of bottles behind me right now because they're all behind the camera. So there's a lot of bottles on the table right now. Today's episode is finding different candy notes in bourbon. So I went through my spreadsheet, which is in the description of all my videos, that has all the notes that I write down, and I put it on Excel or it's a Google Docs, whatever, sheets, whatever the heck it is. And I was looking for keywords like, peanut butter and chocolate and stuff like that. And I compiled a list. Now, some of these bottles I didn't have anymore or whatever, but I have a whole list. We'll get into it. Let's do a giveaway real quick. All right, so this is for the Cigar Bourbon Blends under $100 video. And the winner is Scott Mindrabo 6288. Email description, email me, I'll get those samples out to you. And if you're watching this on Halloween or the Saturday after Halloween, get your tickets for Riley's Children's Hospital. A $5 ticket can have you win a Pappy 20 year, a Russell's Reserve 15, a Jack Daniel's 14, a George C. Stack, and over 200 other bottles. So definitely get your tickets and hopefully you win. Let me know on Monday if you won something. All right, so let's get into this list. So how I kind of did this, I looked online, I found like an article like the top 25 best Halloween candies. Now you can argue these, whatever, that's not the point of this. So some of these I couldn't really find stuff, but most of them I did. So let's get into, just in no particular order, candy corn, which I don't have as a candy. And I don't know if you saw the thumbnail of the freaking huge tub of candy my wife got for Halloween. We don't get that many kids, so I don't know. I told her I was gonna do this episode and I needed candy just to like do a thumbnail with, and she went a little overboard. So I have candy for days. So let's get into candy corn. So for candy corn, you're looking for like a sweet corn note, which what's a better option than 100% corn whiskey, mellow corn. And then I also have a Balcones blue or baby blue, High West Bourbon, which this is a barrel select. We also have the Jimmy Red Bourbon whiskey bottle in bond. So some of the bottles I have on hand still, some I don't anymore. That is candy corn. Okay, a very popular candy and note in whiskey is Hershey's. So this is, your chocolate, your milk chocolate note. Woodford Double Oaked is a great option for that. What else we got here? We got this is supposed to be Old Forester 1910. Apparently I don't have that anymore. So 1910, Elijah Craig Toasted, the Chattanooga Bourbon. Well, so we got the Wild Turkey 8 year. Some of these are actually the right bottles. I actually found them. You'll see starts towards the end. I was like, I can't find these bottles. Maker's Mark Heart Release from 2024. This is exactly. So these are notes I actually got specifically from my spreadsheet on these bottles. And the Pursuit United. That's not the Pursuit United. The Pursuit United Double Oaked, which, one of my favorite bourbons of the year. All of these, for me, get some chocolate notes for the Hershey bar. Okay, now we go into my favorite candy. So definitely tell me what your favorite candy is in the comment section. My favorite candy is Reese's. There is a lot of different whiskeys, bourbons out there that have chocolate and peanut butter. And when I was going through my list, a lot of the stuff I review on the channel are rarer, harder to find, expensive bottles. I try to make this list of stuff that you can kind of find, right? So like I showed the 1924 for Old Forester, but that's supposed to be the 1910. Most of the bottles are somewhat easy to find. Some of them aren't, we'll get to them. But so these are some examples for Reese's where you get chocolate and peanut butter and you can find them. The Old Granddad, which is, bottom shelf bottle. So that should be easy to find. And then for these two are kind of just showing distilleries, right? So Jim Beam overall and Heaven Hill overall have a lot of nutty notes. So if you can find one that has peanut butter as well, or chocolate, excuse me, the peanut butter would kind of come from the nutty side. But if you can get one with a chocolate, there you go. There's your Reese's. So basically I did a whole distillery for the Reese's with the Jim Beam and Heaven Hill, which is a common thing with chocolate bars, is chocolate and peanut butter. So if you're like, oh, this chocolate bar wasn't on your list, it's because it's basically chocolate and peanut butter. And you know, it's very hard to find exact, like this bottle tastes exactly like that, like a Snickers bar, but the ingredients of a Snickers bar or a Reese's, okay, I got the chocolate and peanut butter. I can see the Reese's in this bottle. That makes sense. All right, another one of my favorite candies, especially growing up, Kit Kat. In Kit Kat, you have the chocolate, you have vanilla, and you have that little wafery note, right? So those that kind of led me to like more weeded bourbons. We have the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked again in this category. I already showed it though. The Green River Full Proof, which this isn't the full proof, this is just the weeded bourbon, but this would also fall into this category. The Ben Holiday, again another weeder. This is soft red wheat. Noah Mills, which I for some reason could not find, and the Nulu Toasted. So there you go. So a couple different categories for the Kit Kat. Again, chocolatey. You got a little bit of that wafer, which kind of gets that little from the wheat from the bourbon. So a couple Kit Kats on the table. Okay, fan favorite, Snickers. So Snickers, chocolate, peanut butter, caramel. And so again, your Heaven Hills and Jim Beam profiles for the nuttiness. Now you're kind of looking for maybe a little bit of caramel on top of that. So you got the Jim Beam Black. You got, you know, not this specific Booker's, but if you can find a Booker's that also has a little caramel, which a lot of bourbons have the caramel. So that's should be an easier flavor to pick up on. And the Knob Creek 12, which I just reviewed on the channel the other day. So easy peasy on that one. Okay, so now we go into Butterfinger. So we have butterscotch, caramel, nuttiness, and I don't have a Butterfingers, and if it's in there, I couldn't find it. Sorry. So Butterfingers, we have Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond 7-year, which I know I have around here somewhere. Man, looking for these bottles was crazy. We have the Balcones Blue, Baby Blue, the Wilderness Trail High Rye Bourbon. So this is just a regular straight bourbon. Barrel Bourbon, which I'm not exactly sure what batch, but these are all pretty good. And then, oh, Heaven Hill bottle. I was like, what's this bottle? So it's in a small bottle. That's probably why I couldn't find it, but it's right there. I did find it. And Barrel Decade 20-year, which definitely more of an expensive bottle, but when I was going through it, that 100% was one of the bottles I got the butterscotch bomb flavors on. So Butterfingers. Okay, now we go into a candy that's not displayed, and apparently it's not as popular anymore, but I remember it being very popular as a kid, and that's the Whoppers. So that, like that malted milk and chocolate note. So there's a bunch of bottles that fit this category, especially in the malt world. So I picked some American single malts for this. The Westland Guarana, that edition 8. Westward SLB pick. Yellowstone American single malt. The Jack Daniel's American single malt. Detling Single Barrel, which I couldn't find. The Chattanooga Founders Reserve, which I showed before. And James E. Pepper Bourbon, which comes up on this list again. So that's more of that milk chocolate malty note together for the Whopper, okay? One of those favorite candies, Red Twizzlers. Obviously, the other Twizzlers is more of the black licorice note. This is more the sweet strawberry note, plasticky. So Redemption High Rye Bourbon. Again, try to find cheaper offerings for these flavor profiles. Sazerac Rye, which is cheap. I can find it here easily. I know back in the day it was a little harder to find for some people. You got some Russell's Reserve picks. Now, obviously, they're single barrels, so they could change bottle to bottle. And the Smoke High Hill Barrel Proof Bourbon, which, one of my favorites from last year. It's, you can buy it online. It's not too expensive, so it definitely made the list. So that's your Twizzler notes. Okay, now we got Tootsie Roll, which, there's a bigger one right here. I could use this one, but anyways. Which I get occasionally, but I kept finding them in more rare, expensive bottles. So I found a couple that were pretty findable. So your Heaven Hill 7-year, Cooper's Craft, and Maker's Mark 101, which obviously this is not the 101 edition, but so there's your cocoa, vanilla, and caramel for your Tootsie Roll. So another candy we don't have, your Red Hots, your hot tamales, you know, your candy, cinnamon, spice note, which is a common note. And you would think I would have a lot of bottles for this because I've say cinnamon red hots a lot. Apparently on harder to find bottles. So one bottle I did find that was, you know, you can find on most shelves. The Russell's Reserve Single Barrel Rye. Sorry, I don't have more options for your cinnamon notes, but it is a very common note. Another candy I don't have, but a very common candy and a good candy. This is your chocolate mint, your junior mints, your York peppermint patties. So you get some mintiness and chocolatiness with it. So we have High West double rye. So obviously this isn't double rye, but a placeholder. Another one, like I know I had the SAG double oaked rye because I just reviewed on the channel. Couldn't find it. So not the regular one, but the double oak specifically. And the Willet 4-year, which this is the 4-year. And Found North Batch 09. So that's definitely a harder and probably like a lottery bottle anyways. So, but some of these that I said, chocolate and mint, which is wonderful. And most of these are rye, right? So the rye gives you that mint, and then you'll hopefully find some chocolate to go with that to find your junior mint candy or your York peppermint patty candy. A couple more placeholders, and this is for Smarties, which again, I thought that was a very common candy, but apparently not in the mix bags anymore. So this is your, you know, your George Dickel's, maybe not the 17-year, but your regular Dickel's. Bibb and Tucker 6-year bourbon, which couldn't find. The James E. Pepper bourbon decanter, which I showed earlier, that has some of the Smartie notes, which is, you know, that sweet, chalky, fruity-ish flavor profile. And for the Balcones, it's not exactly this one, it's the pot still one. But you know, this is cash strength. So Balcones, like, this isn't my favorite candy. It's not my favorite notes in bourbon either. But if that's a candy you like, those are some options for you. So for Skittles in this orange thing for Halloween, I literally just wrote Buffalo Trace. So basically Buffalo Trace as a distillery gives you that sweet, fruity profile. So you can kind of get the Skittle notes from that distillery profile. And you're gonna see them come up in a little bit again. Okay, a very common note I say on this channel is Laffy Taffy. Now Laffy Taffy can be different flavor profiles, right? Because it could be like banana Laffy Taffy, strawberry Laffy Taffy. I usually say strawberry Laffy Taffy, so I'm gonna go with that one. So some options for that sweet, fruity, vanilla, chewy texture. You got your 1972 Bottle and Bond, Old Forester 1924. We got the Blue Note Uncut Unfilters, which are just phenomenal picks. And if you guys don't know, now you know. You're my boy Blue. Oh, I love those hater stickers on those bottles. The Remus 9-year Experimental that came out earlier this year. The Old Fitzgerald 7-year also came out this year. We also got Bar Sound Weeded. We got Penelope 10-year Single Barrel, Redwood Empire Haystack Needle, and I'm sure plenty more because it's a note I say a good amount. So let's go into my most said candy note. So if you've been around the channel more than a day, you've heard me say Red Jolly Rancher. Red Jolly Rancher. There's a lot of bottles that I get that note, and that's your sweet candy cherry note. Cherry is very common in bourbon, and so is sweetness. So it's very easy to find that note for me anyways. Plenty of options. So we have Old Forester 1920, which I actually have this time, not the 1910. Penelope 9-year Single Barrel, which I know I have back there. The Maker's Mark Heart Release 2024, which we covered earlier already. Michter's Bomb Burgers. There you go, the Bomb Burgers. This is specifically from last year. This is from last year. ASW Filler Toasted. The Calumet 16. I know this is the 15, but for some reason I couldn't find it. Oh, because the 6, I killed the 16. That's why. I haven't opened up a new one yet. Barrel 12-year French Oak, which I just reviewed recently, and Cigar Batch, Short Barrel Cigar Batch number 2. Plus, I'm sure countless more. There's your Red Jolly Rancher note. You knew it was coming. Now, I've definitely said Watermelon Jolly Rancher 1 or 2 times this year, but they were probably on expensive and rarer bottles. But this category is the Purple Jolly Rancher note. There was actually no, I couldn't find any in the basket, but that's fine. One distillery, very famous for their purple grape sweetness, and that's Buffalo Trace. So anything from Buffalo Trace, you know, that's for me, that's what I try to, if I'm drinking something blind and I don't know what it is, and I get that Purple Jolly Rancher note or purple grape sweetness, I'm going to think it's Buffalo Trace, but it's not always Buffalo Trace. There's stuff outside of that that I've gotten that purple Jolly Rancher note from. Like this LF Heritage SLB pick, the private stock, I got it on. The Magi Port and Sherry Finish, and the Redwood Empire Haystack Needle Bottle Barn pick. And then I just have Buffalo Trace in big letters. So it is outside of that. You know I got a lot of it on the Abraham Bowman, but that's also Buffalo Trace. Okay, going down the Jolly Rancher notes, because I say it a lot. So we have the green Jolly Ranchers, which are like your sour apple sweetness. And this usually tends more to like the ryes, but not necessarily. This is a very like diverse note. So we have the Rare Perfection 8-year-old, another Westland, Cholera, maybe? Collier? I don't know. What's that word? And this is the 3rd edition. One of my favorite bottles of the year, which didn't grab, I guess. The Blue Note Cask Series with the 10 different finishes. Got a good amount on that. This Nulu Universal Liquors pick, which is a great, this was my favorite rides last year. Great tater stickers and everything. That's awesome. Let's see, we have LF Heritage Bloodline Small Batch, Copper and Cask Cigar Blend 2024 7-year, Penelope Project X Oloroso Sherry Cognac, and Cedar Ridge Poor Decisions pick, which I thought I grabbed that. I guess not. Those are your green Jolly Ranchers, and that's all the Jolly Ranchers. Okay, we're almost done. Couple more to go. So peanut M&Ms is not what we're talking about. We're gonna talk about Runts, which is your banana candy note. You get a lot of banana on Brown-Forman products, which are Woodford Reserve, your Old Forester, and your Jack Daniels. So not everyone gets the banana notes on these products. I do for sure. A couple other bottles I got the Runts note on: Old Elk Cigar Cut Island Batch and Old Ezra 7-year Rye. Okay, now we're going to the Heath Bar. So this is more your toffee chocolate direction. And these are placeholders, so don't get crazy. Like, those are not findable, Carlos. I'm aware. So you got your Old Forester 1910 again, your KC12 again, your regular Michter's US 1 bourbon, not the 10-year, New Riff 6-year malted rye, your regular Russell's Reserve 10-year, which I can't believe I don't have one open anymore, and your Evan Williams 1783. I picked a little patriotic one, and even the Elijah Craig small batch. Okay, so this last one isn't really a Halloween candy. You should not be giving this to children. This is one of those candy notes that I get, and it's definitely an adult candy. It's the chocolate over cherry with the liqueur inside of it. And again, these aren't the easiest bottles to find either, but I was like, I gotta throw this in there because it's adult candy. And you should be an adult watching this. If you're not, go away. So we got the Penelope Cigar Sessions, Chapter 1, the very old St. Nick Immaculata, and the Weller Antique, specifically it was a Conti's pick, but this isn't even that right pick. But anyways, hope that was fun for someone, because man, finding these bottles was crazy. So definitely tell me your favorite candy. Tell me what bourbons that you find certain candy notes in, because you know we can maybe put a big list together in the comment section. So hope you guys all have a good Halloween and the weather's good. You can do whatever, bring your kids out or hand out candy. Obviously we're handing out candy. Hopefully there's a lot of kids coming to my house. Don't do nothing stupid. And if you do, don't get caught. Bye.